VOA News. I'm Christopher Cruz reporting. Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari was re-elected to another four-year term Tuesday after the opposition tried but failed to stop the vote counting. With all the votes counted except from one state, election officials gave Buhari an insurmountable lead over former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Buhari is expected to make a formal victory speech, but has already tweeted that he is very proud of what has been accomplished. India says it has carried out pre-dawn airstrikes in Pakistan on a camp of the Islamist militant group Jaish-e-Mohammad. That group claimed responsibility for a suicide car bomb that killed 40 paramilitary troops in Indian Kashmir nearly 2 weeks ago. The airstrikes, which India says killed many militants, will escalate military tensions between the nuclear-armed rivals. Pakistan claims the strikes caused no damage or casualties. President Trump is in Hanoi for his second summit with Kim Jong-un. There are hopes for a deal that would lead to the North Korean dictator deciding to give up his nuclear weapons. The U.S. House of Representatives passed a measure Tuesday revoking President Trump's declaration of a national emergency to build a wall without congressional authorization along the country's southern border with Mexico. Democrats, the opposition Democrats, have a majority in the House. The bill was introduced after President Trump's February 15th declaration, arguing that his actions went against the constitutional separation of powers, that Congress controls how federal money is spent. The Republican-controlled Senate now has 18 days to consider the bill. This is VOA News. In what promises to be a riveting and historic televised hearing, President Trump's former longtime personal lawyer Michael Cohen is set to appear before a House oversight panel on Wednesday in public to provide an intimate and potentially damaging look at Trump's business empire, as well as Donald Trump's conduct during and after the 2016 presidential election campaign. Cohen will become the highest-profile witness since the 1970s Watergate scandal to testify in Congress against a sitting American president. The United Nations says in the last 3 days, about 9,000 people have evacuated the final piece of land still held by the Islamic State terror group in Syria. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs in Syria said of those fleeing the Syrian village of Baghouz, 99% are women and children, and 6,000 civilians have been brought to the nearby Al-Hol camp for displaced persons in northeastern Syria. A new report that is already resonating with key lawmakers says the United States will need to significantly change its approach to fighting terrorists and extremist groups or face the prospect of more never-ending wars in the Middle East. The blunt assessment was issued by the bipartisan Task Force on Extremism in Fragile States. The report was released Wednesday. It's the result of a comprehensive look at U.S. military campaigns against terror groups such as the Islamic State and Al-Qaeda. After nearly 2 decades and an estimated $5.9 trillion spent on various campaigns and initiatives, the report concluded that no amount of success on the battlefield will ever be enough to stop the spread of extremist ideology. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro accused the U.S. on Tuesday of trying to create a crisis with the intent of starting a war in the region. In an interview with ABC News in the presidential palace in Caracas, Maduro said they are trying to fabricate a crisis to justify political escalation and a military intervention in Venezuela to bring war to South America. The top story of the hour, the Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari has been re-elected to another 4-year term after the opposition tried but failed to stop the vote counting. You can find more on these and other late-breaking and developing stories from around the world, around the clock, at voanews.com and on the VOA News mobile app. I'm Christopher Cruz. VOA News.